Okay, good evening. Today's daf is daf Mem Hayt Amud Aleph. We are continuing this sugya of bringing stuff to other people's property with or without permission, and whether or not that person's responsible for your stuff that you put in his property. There's a story. There was a woman who entered someone else's property to bake bread there. And the goat belonging to the owner ate the dough, and died from it. And the woman, Rava made the woman pay for the goat. So we might say, Lima pligad Rav. Maybe Rava disagreed with Rav. The Amar Rav said earlier, Rav said earlier, a few him ago, that if an animal eats your stuff, you could tell the owner, not my problem, you shouldn't have eaten it in the first place. The Gemara says, La hamre hachi hashta. In the case there Rav said you shouldn't have eaten, is in the case of hatam shelo bershut. There was no permission for the fruits to be there. And therefore, lo kabel and therefore the owner did not accept himself responsible. But over here, the woman entered to bake the bread with permission. Right back then, it was luxury to have an oven, and therefore the lady had to borrow the guy's oven, and therefore she asked permission, and therefore kabel and therefore she accepts responsibility of guarding the guy's items, and therefore it's her problem. How come this is different from the case of the lady who had to grind the wheat without permission? And over there we said patur. And over there she was patur for paying for the guy's animal. But if his animal was damaged, sorry, over there that the animal ate it, he's patur. But if the animal's damaged, the woman is chayav. Tamash l'beshut. We see over there because maybe she entered without reshut. But if she had permission, she would be patur from doing it. So how come over here we see that you are chayav, and over there she would be patur? Where it says Amri that by the grinding of the wheat, because she doesn't require privacy. We'll explain why in a second. She doesn't require privacy while grinding the wheat, and therefore therefore the owners of the yard doesn't have to leave. He doesn't have to leave the premises. He can just be there. Okay, I'll watch my animal. You grind your wheat. However, therefore the owner has responsibility to watch his own animals. And if his animal dies from eating something, his problem. Regarding baking, the woman requires privacy. And therefore the owner of the yard will want to remove himself. He doesn't want to be there when the lady's there. And therefore, if she's there and the guy has to leave, therefore she has to watch it. Rashi explains that they need privacy because they roll up their sleeves to knead the dough. And therefore, as Mishnah Brura says, above the knee and above the elbow is considered like erva. And therefore, because she had to use her hands and reveal herself, she's causing the guy to leave. And if she's causing the guy to leave, she has to watch his house and animals. Next part of the Mishnah, Hechnis Shoro Lahatzer Balabayit. If someone brought an ox into someone else's courtyard, right? Let's see what happens in another scenario. Reuben brought his ox into Shimon's backyard without permission. And then the ox dug pits and stuff into the courtyard. It went all Hamas. It dug tunnels. The owner of the ox is chayav to pay for damages to the courtyard. But if the owner, someone gets hurt in that bore, the owner of the courtyard has to pay for that. So and even though the pasuk said that when a man digs a pit, below short bore, and it doesn't mean that if an ox dug a pit, sounds like only if the man dig a pit, but not if an ox dug a pit. Over here came in the since over here the owner of the courtyard should have filled it up before making the board hefker, right? We know that in order for the chayav and board has to be hefker. Since he didn't fill it up, as if he dug it himself. Right. So basically, if you see something happening and you don't take care of it, the responsibility gets transferred over to you. If you see something, say something. If you see a pit, fill it up. Someone brought his ox to someone's property without permission. And the ox damaged the owner. Oh, the owner got damaged by tripping over it. Hayav. The owner of the ox is hayav. Ravatz patur. The ox squatted, he is patur. Gemara says, patur, because the ox squatting, that's patur. Why is that a reason to be patur? Squatting. Oh, he was squatting, all right, but he was letting out the chunt, as they say. Right? So the ox was relieving itself, and therefore the 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 garments of the Babite was dirty by the droppings, and therefore he's patur. The board. It's like the droppings are like a board. And therefore, we've never seen a case where a bore is chayav for kelim, for vessels or clothing. Where it says, Hani who any type of obstacle is considered a bore, and that's why we patur from the dung. However, according to Rav, the Amar Adam Afkirli, you have to make the item hefker in order to get chayav as bor. Michael Nimmer, how come over here the owner didn't have a chance to make it hefker if the ox is dropping the bombs as we speak? Where it says Amre Stam Galim Afkure Mafkirdahu. We say no. In general, dung is not exactly belonging to the owner. The owner is a stam. General dung has no ownership. Right? No one goes after the animal and says, "Oh, that's my dung. Don't touch it." If you're collecting it, you're getting it right away, then you're acquiring it. But the actual dung itself does not belong to the owner. And that's how it's born. Okay, I'm going to halacha. Nechnas lahatzer balabayit shelo b'reshut. If I entered your courtyard without permission, v'hezikit balabayit, and I damaged you, or balabayit who's like the owner got damaged over the guy who's trespassing, hayav, he's hayav. Heziku balabayit, if the owner damaged him, patur, the guy's patur. The only time your patur is for damaging the trespasser is if he did not know him. He did not know he was there. If he did know that the guy was there, the owner to damage him is chayav. Because the trespasser can tell him, true, you could throw me out of your property, but you don't have no right to hurt me. Meaning, if the guy knows you're there, then okay, throw me out, but you can't hurt me. This is not coming in regard the special halachot in regarding to ganav or a guy who's tunneling his way into someone else's property. That if you think that the guy is out there to hurt you or to rob you for your stuff and to protect yourself, you do have a right for self-defense and to attack him first. This is not referring to that case. Okay. They followed on halachot. The Amar Rava v'Itmar Rafapa. Shnehem bereshut or shnehem shlo bereshut heziku. And two people are at a certain place, and both of them are with permission, or both of them without permission. Heziku zeh if they hurt each other, chayavin their chayav. Hezku zeh if they damage by each other, beturin they're both patur. Ta'ama, the reason why they're both patur or chayav is because the shnehem bereshut or shnehem shlo bereshut. Both of them are with permission, or both of them without permission. What does it mean without permission in public? Means running at full speed. One guy is walking, for example, one guy is out and running, the guy who's walking is patur because he didn't do anything actively. But the guy who's running is doing something unnatural, he would be chayav. Someone was trespassing and the ox was trespassing and he fell into the homeowner and he fell into the owner's well and ruined the waters. The trespassing ox owner is chayav. The only time it's referring to when he's chayav is when he ruined the water when he fell into it. If he was dirty, for example. Let's say the ox was beautiful and clean, and then after 10 minutes in the water, he ruined the water. Patur is patur, right? Hani short board, that's considered a case of ox in board. Umayim kelim, and water is the shore is the bore because it's an obstacle, and the water is like kelim, and therefore we can't have a case of bore that makes you have in kelim, as we know. Kelim are patur in a case of bore. That makes sense. The amar kol teklabor, all type of obstacles are considered more, like we said earlier. According to Rav, we said you have a bore is only a bore if it's a hefker. Over here, the ox is not hefker. Only time you're is when the ox made it ruined with his body. But if it made it dirty because it stinks after dying, it's considered a grama. My animal fell into the water, died, and the carcass stunk up the water. That's considered grama. All right, it just shows you nowadays we're spoiled. We don't have Poland Spring, we won't drink it over there. If the animal didn't smell too much, they would still drink the water. All right. If the owner's father or son went into the well and he was killed by the ox that fell inside, the trespasser must pay the kofar. Lamai hatamhu considered a tam, and when a tam kills somebody, it's patur. Gemara says, "Marav the muad lipol up adam the borot the skin of referring to an ox that is muad for falling up to people while they're in borot. Right? They love jumping into they see a person, they think it's funny, jump onto them. Therefore, he's chayav. If he does it on purpose, then he should be chayav the death, like as if he's goring him. Marav Yosef, the hazah yirokav in a false, referring to a case where he saw vegetables next to the pit top and he falls in. It happens a lot all the time. He's chayav in kofar because he's mu'ad in doing this, but not because he wants to kill the guy, but rather because he eats too close to borot. Okay, Shmuel Amar Hamani, who's according to Rabbi Yosef Lili. Amar Tam Mishnah Hasi Kofar. Different answer is simple. Yeah, Tam, but Tam plays half kofar. Ula says Rabbi Yosef Lili. He Damar Keren Bitafon holds Rabbi Bitafon. Damar Keren V'Haser Nizak Nezek Shalem Mishalem. Keren, right? The unnatural damages and the damage in the damaged area pays full damages. Hachanami. So to over here, if he killed someone, you pay kofar. Kofar Shalem Mishalem. He pays full kofar because it's Keren. That's why we specifically mentioned the father or son, because they are considered death by Kenan. Right? Because if they are supposed to be there, they're naturally there by their family, by their relative's house. Why specifically mentioned a father or son? It could be even if someone else, anybody. It says, it's true, it could be anybody, but who we're going to mention people who are naturally or commonly there. Next part of the Mishnah. If he entered the ox with permission, the owner of the courtyard is hayav. Itmar, Rav says according to Tanakama that you are patur if the owners gave you permission. And Shmuel Amar according to Rebbe that you're only the owner of the chaser is only chayav if he not only gave permission but also accepted responsibility. If an owner tells his friend, "Bring your ox into my property, but watch it," hizik chayav, the ox damaged, the owner of the ox chayav. Huzak patur, the ox was damaged, the owner of the courtyard is patur. Bring your ox and I'll watch it. Huzak chayav. If it damaged, he's chayav. Hizik patur, but if the ox damaged, he's patur. 1 second. Hagufa kasha. If you infer both ways, the implications of each way is a stira. It's a contradiction. If you say bring your ox and you guard it, hizik chayav, huzak patur. If it damages the ox owner's chayav and the chaser owner's patur. The reason why it's patur is because he said you watch it. The chayav bala shor patur bala chaser has to mob with, but let's say he didn't give him permission. It sounds like chayav bala chaser patur bala shor. The owner of the yard will be chayav if the ox is damaged, and the shore will be patur if the ox damaged. This tamab didn't kabel because if he just says I give you permission to put it there without saying what type of permission, if he's watching or not, it sounds like he is saying I'm going to watch it. However, the second part is Emasefa. The second part says, bring your ox and I'll watch it. Huzak hayav hizik patur. If the damage, the owner is hayav and the ox owner is patur. Tamad lamar mishmar. But the only reason why that's the case because he told him I'll watch it. That's why the yard owner is hayav and the ox owner is patur. With just permission, but without saying who's guarding it. He didn't specify who's guarding it. Hayav bala shor patur bala chaser. The ox owner should be chayav, and the yard owner should be patur. Because maybe without specification, he's not accepting responsibility. That goes according to Rabbi. That makes sense according to Rabbi, who says that you are patur unless you specifically take on responsibility besides permission. So now the problem is the first part of the Braita sounds like Rabbanan, and the second part sounds like Rabbi. When it says Amar Rabbi Azar, it's true. It's first one's the quoting Rabbanan, and the second one's quoting Rabbi. Rabban Amar is a different answer. Kula Rabbanani, the whole thing fits according to Rabbanan. I didn't see V'Reisha Shemrot because the first case mentioned guard your ox. Remember, that's why the second case was burden, I will guard it. However, the second halacha would be that even if he would specify it, even if he did not specify it, to be chayav, meaning it don't infer from both ways. Really, the first way is the correct way to learning it, like chachamim, and the second way, don't infer it. That's just trying to make a second case, the language smooth. We have this many times throughout Shas. Rabbi Amar, Kula Rabbi, really according to the whole thing. Damage by keren in the damages area property, you pay full damages. Hilkach, therefore. If he told him, you watch your animal, he didn't give him the right to put it anywhere in the yard. Right, it's my yard, you could just stay here. And therefore, the damage is happening keren in the damages area. The keren the hasan izak, therefore he pays full damages. But if he didn't say go, I'll watch it. He's saying you have your own spot, you take care of it in your own spot. Therefore, it's considered a partnership of the Hatzer. And partnership property, you do not pay except Hatzi Nezek. We'll do the Mishnah. Shor Shayam Mitkaven Haviro, if an ox tried to gore another ox, Vihikati Isham hit a pregnant woman, and the child was the fetus died. Patur Miladot, the ox owner's patur from the baby. Va'adam Shayam Mitkaven Haviro, person trying to hit his friend, Vihikati Isham hit a lady, and the baby was miscarried. He has to pay the offspring. Right? Adam mu'ad le'ulam, as we always say. How do you pay for the baby? We assess the monetary value of a woman who is kama how much she was worth before giving birth, how much it basically is a slave with a baby, pregnant. Becoming after how much is a lady worth without having a baby, right? Slaves with babies were worth more because that's the baby slave you have inside. And therefore, that value that dropped with this lady, that's how much you pay. Amarabah and Shimon ben Gamliel, Imken mehaisha yoledet mishkahat. A woman will increase in value after giving birth. Because why? We'll explain it in the Gemara. Rather, we just check how much the fetus/baby would be worth, and that's how much you pay. The damager has to give the value of the baby to the woman's husband. She doesn't have a husband, and you give it to the husband's heirs, the children. If she was a lady who was shivcha who had been freed, if she converted, patur, you are patur from paying it because there are no yorshim. We'll continue here tomorrow. Yeah.